It's Viking football with Bruce Barnum once again, and once again the Vikings came away victors at Providence Park, defeating Southern Utah 24-23 last Saturday. A truly exciting victory. And Coach, one in which you kind of beat Southern Utah, the first place team in the Big Sky Conference, at their own game. Led the nation in forced turnovers, turnover ratio, fewest turnovers, and really that was the difference in the game for the Vikings, is creating some turnovers. It
was, and to win the turnover battle, Mike, 3-0 against that group, huge. Had a lot to do with winning the football game, but what a fun game. It lived up to its billing. You know, everybody was talking about that being the FCS game of the week, or up there in that category, and for that hard-fought football game against a damn good a hell of a team. Great ending. I'm glad we got the W.
And those turnovers couldn't have come at a better spot. Xavier Coleman, 2 interceptions, both came at the 2-yard line. Peanut got an interception there right by the goal line. All 3 ended scoring drives, threatening drives, and really made a difference.
They did. You and I talked about it on game day, and actually we talked about it game 1, the classic bend don't break. And that's what you saw, and we were lucky enough to come up with a couple turnovers there, 3 turnovers, and have to stop some things. One at the end of the half there, and one of X's catches was, a magnificent catch. But again, to win that battle against a team like that, I think that was a critical key of that day.
Okay, let's talk about the go-ahead and eventual winning touchdown. A very unusual play. I called it old school. The jump pass. But that was set up. You put Kieran McDonough at fullback earlier in the game. That was set up earlier in the game to make it work in the fourth quarter and get the Vikings that 24-17 lead. Explain how that came together.
My 28 for them, the Killebrew student athlete, he runs their defense. In every film you watch, he would make a big hit, and their team would rally around that. Their defense, and their defense is strong. I'd say one of the strongest in the FCS. But we had to do something to counter that. So Kieran McDonough, fresh legs, big body at this point in the year to tackle him, no matter how good you are. That's a load. So we put the bull in, but we hadn't done it yet in the first half. So at halftime, the guys reminded me our plan was get him out there, get him some touches, so if we were ever in that situation for that jump pass in the red zone, that we would use it. So we got him 4, I think, and they're aware of him, running the football. Again, tough to bring down, so they were getting hats on him and doing just what we'd hope. They're rallying to him and making sure he didn't get a yard. But that was the birth of the jump pass. So it came together there, and Cam did a nice job, stepped in and blocked for one alligator, and then he released, and we were lucky enough to get a touchdown out of it.
One alligator being the technical term for 1 second. You suppose he was actually saying alligator as he was hitting the guy before he released?
Actually, he'd probably say, Mike, 1 alligator, 2 alligator, because I figure if we give him 2 alligators in the game, I'm only going to get 1 alligator, and it'll work out, because they get all excited once they're playing, especially in a big venue like that.
It had to be pretty gratifying to see a couple of seniors who kind of role players this year come in and make the big play. Cam Thompson had 2 touchdowns, the only 2 of his career, and he does it on senior day. And, of course, Kieran, who's kind of watched a lot from the sidelines this year, makes an important play.
It was 2 storylines that if you weren't professional enough to do this interview and this gig for Viking Nation and everybody else around the country, they wouldn't know that. But it was 2 storylines behind the scenes that were really cool that day.
Okay, let's move on to Eastern Washington, a team traditionally excellent on offense. They lost that star quarterback. He went somewhere down in the valley to play football, but they got one, came in right behind him, just about as good, Jordan West. And of course, Cooper Kupp, the wide receiver, is back, and that offense just rolling as good as ever this season. That's probably the big challenge for you this week.
It is. Bo Baldwin, since he's been there, has put together their offensive staff. They've done great things over there offensively. Like you see at other places. Right now, Montana was struggling a little bit because of their quarterback situation. And they're back, it sounds like, to power. But Eastern, same thing. They've had a couple quips with their guys right now. because they lost. I think they lost one to Oregon. I'm not sure where that kid went, but and they just had to find it, and then they had some turnover situations. So there's some discussion over there right now about who's going to play, but that staff, Bo Baldwin, he'll put it together. He'll be ready.
Okay, now you go into the final week of the season with a chance. Need a little help, but with a chance to get a share of the conference title, but really feeling pretty confident about an NCAA postseason berth. But you really have to be excited to get your team to this point, something that probably nobody really expected at the start of the season.
Excited, yes. We're proud. I'm proud of this crew. I really am. Things happen in a football game. Things happen in practice. Things happen in their everyday life, and it's not a panic anymore. I like how they react to adversity. I think they have a different approach right now, and it's leading to some wins on college football Saturdays. So now we have a chance in regular season to try to go get one more.
Okay, well, congratulations through 10 games at 8-2, and the Vikings with 8 wins. That's kind of the magic number when you're looking to get a berth into the playoffs. There are no guarantees in life, they tell me. No guarantees except, of course, for death and taxes, and certainly no guarantees when it comes to the NCAA selection committee. But this Sunday at 8 a.m. on ESPN, there will be the selection show, and the Viking program will host a party, and it's right over my shoulder, right there in Hoffman Hall. The Vikings will host a party. The public is welcome. We're going to watch that selection show, see if, when, and where the Vikings play in the postseason. This has been Viking Football with Bruce Barnum. Get all the details on this Saturday's game at GoVikes.com.